Coming Home is a play by Athol Fugard, first performed on January 21, 2009, at the Long Wharf Theatre in New Haven, Connecticut. The play begins in 2002 and takes place over a time span of 5 years. This two-act play is set in Oupa Jonkers' dusty shack in Nieu Bethesda in South Africa's arid Karoo region. Veronica's prodigal return back to Oupa's rundown shack with her 5-year-old son, Manfred or Manachi Jonkers, and meager belongings, is in a sense a return back to her roots and back to the place that first gave her hopes and dreams of going to the big city to become a singer. The title of the play is both a figurative and literal coming home of Veronica to a place that gives shelter, redemption, and determination to secure a better future for her son. Coming Home is a continuation of Fugard's 1995 play titled Happy Valley, in which 17-year-old Veronica Jonkers leaves her grandfather, Oupa Jonkers, to become a singer in Cape Town. While Happy Valley ends on an optimistic and hopeful note for the future, Coming Home starts on a desperate and hopeless note with Veronica, now in her late 20s, returning to a desolate home with a child after the death of Oupa, a tenant farmer. It can be deduced that the former play, Happy Valley, set in the mid-90s, is symbolic of South Africa, which has broken the chains of apartheid shackles and is hopeful of a new era of tolerance, prosperity, and a way forward. Contrarily, the latter play, Coming Home, set in the 2000s, is a metaphorical representation of the post-apartheid South Africa that is struggling with grand-scale poverty and corruption while still reeling from the abolished government-sanctioned racist. After her hopes of becoming successful were dashed in Cape Town, Veronica turned to alcoholism and prostitution, which resulted in her living in a poverty-ridden slum and contracting AIDS. Unable to afford the costly medicine, she self-medicates and deludes herself with pseudoscientific cures that we must eat bananas and vitamins. Veronica's declaration that Cape Town was made by the devil is a reference towards the negligence and uncaring attitude of the post-apartheid South African government, which withheld the expensive antiretroviral drugs and encouraged so-called natural remedies for HIV and AIDS, resulting in the early deaths of thousands of poor people. Moreover, the degrading social stigma attached to such ailments heightens the sense of shame and secrecy in patients, prompting them to further hesitate in getting appropriate health care. Veronica echoes the social side effects of AIDS in causing abandonment, isolation, insecurities, social ignorance, and declining mental health. Through her cries at Alfred, "Now you really are afraid of me. Go! Flee like they all do. You think you'll catch it from my sneezing or if you touch the food I eat." She hides her health conditions from the village people by making Alfred promise to tell everyone that she has flu, hinting towards the deep-rooted stigma of dishonor linked with AIDS. To secure her son's future of not being taken by government authorities and having a caring adult figure in Manachi's life after her death, Veronica marries Alfred Witboy, persuading him with "Your mother is dead and you're too old and strange for any other woman to be interested in you." Her childhood friend, Alfred, was a simple-minded person who used to live with his mother and had small ambitions of owning a red bicycle. When Oupa was alive, Alfred was a companion and helper to him, and after Oupa's death, Alfred became his successor and took care of his shack until Veronica's return. Regardless of his religious upbringing, Alfred demonstrates maturity and a compassionate understanding of Veronica's health condition. He not only marries her and cares for her but also becomes a thoughtful, uplifting parent figure in Manachi's life. Alfred showcases infinite patience and tenderness when Veronica lodges in the pathos of self-hatred and Manachi disregards him. He's a humble and honest fellow who safeguards Oupa's pension savings for his great-grandson's education. He doesn't show any prejudice or any hostile difference in his attitude towards Veronica after learning that she's dying of AIDS. He doesn't point any accusing fingers at Veronica when she reveals her promiscuous past. Instead, the audience witnesses affection, compassion, and love in Alfred's actions towards Veronica and her son, giving hope for personal redemption and second chances in life. Storytelling plays a crucial role in preserving tradition, passing down cultural heritage, and gluing generations together. In Coming Home, Veronica's stories of her upbringing with her grandfather, Oupa, are seen as a way to connect Manachi with his roots. He cheers up her son and cements her grandfather's image in his mind by telling him stories of her growing up with her Oupa, such as their dinner routine, and his love for planting pumpkin seeds and gardening. In an effort to further preserve family bonds and cultural roots in Manachi, she requests Alfred to please tell him stories about Oupa, and please don't let him forget me. This hints at the power of storytelling in sustaining memories, pasts, and cultural roots. The ghost of a loving grandfather comes back from the dead on stage to remind Veronica of her roots and the story of her birth. This displays the power of telling stories and reviving the forgotten past and keeping a record of recollections.